Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I didn't plan on getting involved in someone else's marriage, and I definitely didn't expect to become the person who changed everything. But life has a twisted sense of humor, and sometimes the truth sits on your chest so heavily that staying silent feels more like a betrayal than speaking up. My name is Callum, and until a few months ago, I believed I was the kind of man who kept his distance from other people's problems. Then I met Aiden, or rather, I discovered who Aiden really was. That part wasn't pretty. I worked with him for about a year. At first, he seemed like the type of guy people naturally orbit around. Funny, confident, sharp. The kind who could make an ordinary day feel lighter. I never considered him a close friend, but we shared lunches, complained about deadlines, joked around about office chaos. Basic colleague camaraderie. Then one Friday afternoon, everything shifted. We were sitting in the break room when Aiden's phone lit up on the table. A text preview flashed across the screen. A name I didn't recognize. Lila Blue Heart, followed by a message that made my stomach drop. Last night was perfect. Same place tonight. At first, I told myself it wasn't my business. Maybe Lila was his wife. Maybe he just saved his wife's name with a heart. Except I knew his wife's name. Everyone did. Aiden talked about her in passing, Harper. And there certainly wasn't a blue heart next to her name on his phone. He picked up the phone like nothing had happened, grinning at the screen for a second before slipping it into his pocket. I remember staring at the vending machine as if the right snack could erase what I'd seen. I wanted to forget it. Honestly, I did. But the universe wasn't done with me yet. The following week, I was staying late to finish a report when Aiden asked if I could help him carry a few boxes down to his car. I agreed, mostly because I just wanted to get home. When we stepped outside, I saw a woman leaning against a silver SUV, smiling brightly at him. Aiden froze for a fraction of a second, then plastered on a grin. Callum, this is my wife, Harper. She reached out her hand, warm, friendly, genuine. The kind of woman who looks at you like she actually sees you. And in that moment, guilt crawled under my skin like something alive. I knew something about her life that she didn't. Something that could shatter her. For weeks, I tried ignoring it. I tried convincing myself it wasn't my place. Maybe he'd stop. Maybe he'd confess. Maybe they'd work it out. Maybe, always maybe. But every time I saw Harper in the office, dropping off lunch, giving Aiden a kiss on the cheek, smiling with that gentle kind of love that makes you trust someone more, I felt like I was watching a tragedy unfold in slow motion. And I was one of the spectators doing nothing. The final push didn't come from some dramatic moment. It was something painfully ordinary. One morning, I stepped into the elevator at the same time Harper did. She smiled at me, the same warm smile I'd seen dozens of times. Then she asked casually, almost shyly, "Do you think Aiden seems stressed lately? I've been worried. He says work has been rough." My stomach twisted, because I knew why he was acting distant with her. I knew what she didn't. I knew who he was with when he wasn't with her. And standing in that elevator, something inside me snapped. I realized I wasn't protecting their marriage by staying silent. I was protecting him. Protecting the liar. Protecting the one who created the damage. And for what? So I could avoid the discomfort of telling the truth? Harper didn't deserve that. Not even close. The opportunity came 2 days later. She stopped by the office again to bring Aiden lunch, but he wasn't around. She saw me at my desk and walked over, setting the takeout bag down with a sigh. "I swear, one day he's going to forget his own head." She laughed softly. Then she looked at me. "Callum, if he ever talks to you about anything he's struggling with, will you tell me? I just want to make sure he's okay." And that's when the words left my mouth before fear could stop them. "Harper, there's something you should know." The world seemed to slow down. Her smile faded. She sat down quietly, bracing herself. And I told her everything. Who Lila was, the messages, the nights, all of it. I expected anger, screaming, denial, horror. But her reaction surprised me in a way I never could have predicted. In a way that changed everything for all of us. Harper didn't cry. She didn't gasp or clutch her chest or shake with rage the way I imagine someone would when their world collapses at their feet. Instead, she sat completely still, hands folded gently in her lap, as if she were listening to a stranger tell her a story that had nothing to do with her life. When I finally finished talking, there was a long silence, the kind that hums in your ears. She looked at me, not with anger, but with a strange calmness that made the air feel heavier. "Thank you," she said quietly, not sarcastic, not bitter, just thankful. I blinked. That wasn't the reaction I was bracing for. "You didn't have to tell me," she continued. "Most people wouldn't." I didn't know what to say. My throat felt tight. "I'm sorry," I managed, though the words felt small. She nodded slowly, her jaw working as if she were wrestling with thoughts she wasn't ready to speak. Then she exhaled. Not a sob or a gasp, just a long, steady breath, like someone who had been waiting a very long time for the final piece of a puzzle to fall into place. "Can you do me one more favor?" she asked. "Yeah," I said immediately. "Don't tell him I know." "Not yet." That request caught me off guard. "Are you sure?" "Yes," she said. "I need to see something first." I didn't understand what she meant, but the look in her eyes told me not to push. For the next week, Harper acted as if nothing had changed. She still brought him lunch, still kissed him goodbye, still texted him little reminders and check-ins. Meanwhile, I watched Aiden scroll through messages from Lila, smiling down at his phone with the same careless confidence of a man who assumed he was untouchable. It was unnerving watching them both. One performing her normal routine like an actress hitting her marks, the other oblivious, drifting deeper into his own betrayal. By midweek, something about Harper shifted. Not in obvious ways. She didn't suddenly withdraw or confront him. No, she became observant, sharper. I catch her watching him when he thought no one was paying attention. Not with sadness, but with clarity, acceptance, and something else, resolve. On Friday, she walked into the office with a calmness I hadn't seen before. She thanked me again, for my honesty, for trusting her with the truth. Then she asked if I was free for lunch. We sat in a small cafe across the street. She stirred her iced tea thoughtfully before finally speaking. "I knew," she said softly. My heart stuttered. "You knew." Not everything. Not who. Not the details. But the distance. The excuses. The nights he came home smelling like cheap cologne that wasn't mine. She offered a sad, almost tired smile. "I think part of me was waiting for confirmation, and you gave it to me." I didn't know what to say. She didn't need comfort. She wasn't falling apart. She was standing up. "What do you want to do now?" I asked. "That," she said, leaning back, "is the part no one expects." She reached into her tote bag and pulled out a folder, neatly labeled, organized, prepared. "I've already spoken to a lawyer," she said, quietly. "I'm not here to catch him. I'm not here to beg or fight or scream. I just wanted to know the truth before I walked away." There was something powerful in the simplicity of her words. No theatrics, no revenge, just a woman reclaiming her dignity with quiet precision. "Callum," she said, her voice steady, "I'm not angry with you. I'm grateful. You didn't break my marriage. He did. You just gave me the information I needed to stop pretending." We finished lunch, and she hugged me before leaving. It was gentle and brief, but there was strength in it. That evening, I saw everything unravel. Harper waited for Aiden in the driveway, a single suitcase by her side. When he stepped out of the car, confused, she handed him a sealed envelope. Inside were the papers, the lawyer's letter, the truth he never expected her to face so calmly. He exploded, shouting, denying, blaming. But Harper didn't argue. She didn't match his chaos. She simply said, "I loved you enough to believe your words. Now I love myself enough to walk away from them." Then she got into her sister's car and left, without looking back. Aiden didn't return to work for days. When he finally did, he wasn't the same man. The swagger was gone. The jokes were gone. He avoided my eyes, but he must have known. Or maybe he just suspected. It didn't matter. He had built the lie. Harper had ended it. I had only been the bridge between truth and consequence. Months later, I ran into Harper at a bookstore cafe. She looked lighter, happier, the kind of happy that comes from rebuilding, not replacing. She told me she'd moved in with her sister for a while, started painting again, and taken back all the little parts of herself she once dimmed to make space for someone else. "You know," she said, smiling gently, "telling me the truth didn't ruin anything. It freed me." And in that moment, I realized something important. Sometimes the truth doesn't destroy. Sometimes it liberates. Sometimes it's not the end of a story, but the beginning of someone finally choosing themselves.